My wife had plastic surgery recently. We had discussed it, and I was against it. It was not my decision, and ultimately I had no say. She looks weird now. She had the fat sucked out of her face, lip fillers, a neck lift, other stuff I don't really get. She gives me uncanny valley vibes now. It freaks me out. She is fully healed now, and she wants us to go back to normal. Like me initiating sex. I have done so, but not as much as I used to. And when I do, I try and make sure there is very little light. It's been a few months, and I kind of dread having to look at her. Obviously, she has noticed. She has been bugging me to tell her what's up. I've tried telling her I'm just tired from work, or that I'm run down. Really anything except for the truth. She broke down and asked me if I was having an affair. I said that I wasn't. She asked to look at my phone. I unlocked it for her and handed it over. I wasn't worried about her finding anything because there is nothing to find. She spent an hour looking through it and found nothing. She asked me to explain why I changed. I tried explaining that I just wasn't that interested right now. Nothing I said was good enough for her. She kept digging. I finally told the truth. I wasn't harsh or brutally honest. I just told her that her new face wasn't something I found attractive and that I was turned off. She asked if that's why I turn off all the lights now. I said yes. She started crying and said that she needed time alone. She went to stay with her sister. I have been called every name in the book since this happened. Her sister said I'm a piece of shit for insulting my wife's looks. Her friends all think I'm the asshole. I tried not to say anything. I can't force myself to find her attractive. I still love her, but her face is just weird now. She looks like the blue alien from The Fifth Element.
Oh man. There are plastic surgeons out there that refuse to do this, one, because of the damage it can cause, and two, because there isn't enough data to show exactly what it'll do over time, but they suspect it'll cause some worse problems down the road as people age, even worse for people under 40 to 50. According to the rabbit hole I went down recently, buccal fat is good to have because it can help reduce jowls sagging later on. Anyway, while it's totally in her right to make the choice to get that surgery, you're NTA, oak. No one's an AH for what they do/don't find attractive. And I said this in another comment, but you tried to compromise internally and tried to protect her feelings. But she flung around accusations of cheating, wouldn't let it go, kept pushing, and when you were honest with her, she flipped shit, left, and pulled other people into your marriage who are now on a slam campaign against you. She did all of this and still can't manage to take any personal responsibility or act like an adult about it.
Honestly, I'm a big fan of people getting therapy or counseling instead of drastic plastic surgery when it's not necessary. It can become an addiction when you keep altering your body and face and chasing an ideal look. But it's not going to fix the internal body image and self-esteem issues you have. And OP's situation is the best example of why. While it is perfectly her right to get the surgery, it was an extremely foolish thing to do. When your spouse finds you attractive and then tells you that they don't want you to get plastic surgery, you should listen. Why would you compromise the attraction your spouse has for you? And why would you disregard what they're attracted to you and go on to chase some random beauty standard that they don't like? That's got to be the dumbest logic I've ever seen. And this is 100% on her for blowing up their relationship. Disregarding your spouse's feelings is never a good thing. So yeah, while it was her right to do with her body what she wanted, that doesn't mean it was a wise thing to do if her goal had been to preserve the health of her marriage. Or put another way, as Ian Malcolm said in Jurassic Park, you spent so much time wondering whether or not you could do it that you didn't stop and think about whether or not you should. Edit. It's so refreshing to see so many people feel the same way. Last time I posted this opinion, I got downvoted to Hades and called all sorts of nasty names. Those must have been the people I was talking about, I guess, although I'm not saying any of this in judgment. I truly empathize and just think that fixing the emotional issue would be far more beneficial than wasting money botching a procedure.
NTA. It's not my thing, and I am very lucky that it's not my husband's thing, either. You discussed it, you voiced your concerns, she did it anyway as was her right. But choices have consequences, and these are the consequences she actively chose, knowing how you felt. Freedom of choice doesn't mean freedom from consequences. She can't pretend to be all surprised Pikachu now. Well, I mean, I guess technically she could, but I'm not buying. And sicking her flying monkeys on you? Not cool. Edit. Randomness. For some reason I read Blue Alien from Fifth Element, and my mind replaced it with Blue Alien from Avatar. And I was like, Oh, that's not too bad. Oh, wait.
NTA, I love my partner's face. I love the lines I've seen develop over the years. I love the way his eyes crinkle when he laughs. My favorite place in the world is to have my face buried in the crook of his neck, cheek to cheek. When we make love, his face fills my vision and becomes my whole world. I would miss that face so much if he changed it with plastic surgery. I would still love him, but I would feel like I lost something dear to me. It is her face, and she can do what she wants with it. But she underestimated how much you loved her the way she was. I understand.
NTA, it's not your fault that you don't find her new face attractive. That isn't a conscience choice. I'm all for people doing what they want with their body, but if they are in a relationship and their partner states their dislike of the body modification, then that person should keep in mind the risk of doing it will be their partner's lack of attraction. Now, do I think that you might have wanted to fess up on what was wrong much earlier? Absolutely. NTA, it's not your fault that you don't find her new face attractive. That isn't a conscience choice. I'm all for people doing what they want with their body, but if they are in a relationship and their partner states their dislike of the body modification, then that person should keep in mind the risk of doing it will be their partner's lack of attraction. Now, do I think that you might have wanted to fess up on what was wrong much earlier? Absolutely.
NTA, as a woman myself, I can fully understand that for her she probably felt extremely insecure and felt like she was making improvements to herself. However, I am also married. I would never get plastic surgery. I've never had plastic surgery other than a breast reduction, without my husband telling me that he felt comfortable with it and that he would still be 100% attracted to me. When I met my husband, I was extremely insecure about several aspects of my body. My husband made me feel confident. I don't care if anyone else thinks I'm attractive, only him. That's her mistake. When her husband told her he didn't want her to have plastic surgery, she should have listened. Secondly, can someone explain to me why every time someone gets into a fight they sick all their friends and family on the other person? I loathe that.
Her sister, her friends, don't bother listening to them, OP, because of course they're biased. And I bet your wife hasn't told them the truth about what happened. She probably told them that you called her ugly, without mentioning the facts that, 1, you were against the surgery in the first place, 2, you went out of your way to try to cope, 3, your wife accused you of cheating, and 4, you only told her you didn't like her new look after she kept digging. She kept digging until she dug herself into this hole, and has only herself to blame for the current marital problems, including if the marriage breaks down. Of course, it's easier to blame you for not liking what she's turned herself into than admit that to herself and everyone else. NTA.
I don't think he's the AH here. She altered the beauty he adored for whatever purposes, and sadly, it seemed like she may have ended up slightly botched. It does take months for things to heal and settle in place. However, he seemed to be against the cosmetic procedures and tried to reassure her of his views and feelings regarding her natural beauty. Sometimes free speech gets us into trouble, and he is being honest, although it hurts her feelings. Opie has signed up for better or worse, and if it's impacting his desire, that's not a small fate to sweep under the rug for her sake. She altered her facial features, and I don't care what anyone says. She may be the same person on the inside, but to him, she looks totally different on the outside. NGL, the blue alien reference, is hilarious cause everything was swooped and snatched up and back. LOL. Get some therapy to try and get over the hang-up. Good luck.
Not the asshole. I'm going through this with my wife now. She hasn't had surgery yet, but we are in our mid-30s, and she's going through some kind of crisis with her looks. And to me, she's the most beautiful she's ever looked, and she hates how she's aging. And she's aging quite well considering she's still getting carded at bars, and could pass for 21 to 25. She wants the fat, or whatever she thinks fat, sucked out from under her eyes, lip fillers, and eyebrows tattooed on. What to say to her? I told her already she's the most attractive I've ever found her to be, and I love her more than anything, and I wouldn't change anything about her. I blame social media and reality TV glorifying these cosmetically modified people that in my opinion look fucking strange. Some men, probably mostly rich men in their 70s, find attractive because the women end up with fake tits and fake asses. I told her if she gets the surgery we are done. It's too much money, and she's looking at financing it all, and I want no part in it, and I'm not making payments on it. I'll split before that happens.
In Teague, she didn't take your opinion into consideration, and now there are consequences. I'm a woman, and I don't believe I need my husband's permission for a procedure. But considering he's the one I need to find me attractive, not taking his thoughts into serious consideration would be against my best interests. The two of you should have gone to the plastic surgeon together. They typically give a realistic image of what you will look like after. Unless they're crackpots. There are a lot of procedures men and women can disagree on that ultimately don't make a huge difference to their sex lives one way or the other. But facial reconstruction, calling it this because blue alien, is a big deal. The person looking back at you isn't the person you fell in love with. It would be different if she had been in a disfiguring accident, but she wasn't. She chose this look. I'm assuming she's happy with it. I'm not so sure how you get past this though. Maybe therapy will help. Regardless, as much as this sucks to say, she did this to herself. You're not obligated to love a new hairstyle, let alone a new face just because you're married. I would highly suggest that she get therapy, especially if she didn't have any pre-surgery. If she already had any kind of body dysmorphia, knowing you don't like her new look could send her down the rabbit hole of wanting even more procedures. Good luck, Op. This is not an easily fixed issue. As far as anyone else goes, I'd use a standard response of, not your marriage, so stay TF out of it.
My wife did the same thing, except not to her face. She's always been petite, with small boobs. Not flat, just small. She wanted boobs. I told her I liked her the way she was, and if she was going through it, it wasn't because of me, and I'm not paying for it. She did it anyway and accidentally used my CC for the down payment and half the operation. I didn't find out until after the procedure since it was done the following week. She looked like a 110-pound woman with 2 bolt-on beach balls on her chest. I was disgusted with the whole thing and thought she looked ridiculous. Fast forward 10 years, she having medical problems from the implants, and now I have to pay to get them out. Fast forward to now after all the healing, she now has deformed, lopsided boobs, with one of them that looks like someone has taken a bite out of it under the skin because there is tissue missing, one completely inverted nipple with no feeling. I don't even touch them anymore.